Gomez Lopez. They were investigating a vandalism or assault that occurred earlier in the day in the land. That investigation led them to this block, to where they confronted the suspect, a Luis Diaz Polanco, who's 31 years old. When the two deputies knocked on the door, front door, to talk to him, he greeted them carrying a box and acted in complete surprise that the deputies were knocking at the door. When they asked him to put the box down and step outside, he slammed the door in their face and he went back into the house. They peered through the window and saw him walking toward the back of the house with a box. Deputy Rivera tells his trainee, Deputy Lopez, go around the back if he comes out. At that point, our suspect opens up the box, takes out a tan Glock, approaches the front door, and engages Deputy Rivera in a gunfight. Deputy Rivera, whose birthday is in about 12 days, thank God for his body camera, takes a round dead center in through the body camera, which we believe then ricochets through his shoulder, takes another shot through his leg. Deputies are able to evacuate him to safety, and they're able to extract Polanco out of the house and place him into custody. There were several other individuals in the house. It took us a while to clear the house. Polanco is in custody now. He's being questioned by FDLE, who's investigating the police discharge part of that. We're going to be investigating the attempted murder charges. This to give you a little flavor for what we're dealing with here. Polanco was ex parte ordered by us. I mean, he was taken into custody on a Baker Act order in June 25th. On July 4th of last year, he gets involved in a confrontation with his neighbor down in Sanford. The neighbor calls the police and says he's got a gun and he threatened us, but hey, I don't want to do nothing about it. So the police in Seminole County really can't do anything about that. But Lake Mary Police has him listed as a violent, schizophrenic, bipolar person who, when they don't take their meds, could be extremely violent. So again, you're talking about a gun battle that occurs as close as we're standing to one another. We believe Deputy Rivera fires 4 to 5, 6 times, and we believe that the bad guy fires as many rounds back. Now that's all preliminary. We're waiting for a search warrant to get into the house to recover the firearm, to recover shell casings. He's being questioned right now by FDLE agents and by detectives to try to get to the bottom of this. We have transferred Deputy Rivera from up the road here in Halifax. He was airlifted down to Halifax. From all reports, he's in excellent spirits. He's joking with the medical staff. And I'm really proud of them. And like I said, you got to believe in God. If you're in a gun battle in that distance, there is no room except for divine intervention. And obviously his body camera, as you see here, and we'll show Brian that Chief Henderson's got pictures to show you the damage to this thing. It's inoperable, so we have to ship it back to Axon to see if they can download it so we can get the video footage of that confrontation. Because when the gunfire erupted, Deputy Gomez Lopez was running beside the house and around the back, so it wasn't captured on body camera footage. So I don't know if I missed anything, but please feel free to holler away.
For people who don't know, where do you guys usually have the body cam?
Dead center.
So
It was a chest shot. Absolutely. So on top of the bulletproof vest, you got this thing, and again, I think what it does is, if you look at it, the top part, it looks like it deflects it and that's the round that goes through his shoulder, and it takes another round that goes through his thigh. And that's why I said, if you don't believe in God, when you look at a gunfight that's occurring less than 6 feet away, and this thing that nobody likes to wear is sitting dead center, absolutely saves his life. Absolutely. Yeah, earlier today, the suspect who has a history of attacking his mother, he beat his mother and he beat his sister, I think it was in 2023 in Seminole County. There's some type of an altercation that occurs in DeLand where he winds up threatening and pounding on the hood of the mother's friend, the co-worker's friend. and they decide not to call the police when it happens. As the day goes on, the young lady says, you know what, I better call and report this. So Deputy Rivera and his partner go there and interview the mother and the mother's friend about the incident that occurred. And they tell our deputies, hey, he's violent, and this is where he's at right now. So the deputies leave the land, get on the radio and call for backup and say, we're gonna go here and investigate this. And it's interesting because in one of the police reports, it talks about how he had an altercation with police and he was completely zoned out, kind of shocked at why the police were at his house. And from what I'm hearing from our deputies, the same response. Why are you knocking at my door? Well, we know it was in the box. He knew he had a gun. I don't think he figured all those hours had passed, that why were we coming back? But again, we're dealing with somebody who other law enforcement has said is schizophrenic, bipolar, and violent. And again, in June of this year, we took him into custody on an ex parte order from the family.
Sheriff, the two deputies showed up, and then one deputy was shot and was evacuated by other deputies.
Other deputies arriving on scene got him out of the line of fire.
Do you have a time frame of that, like when they arrived?
It's in seconds. It's in seconds.
So they just literally rolled up and...
Right, because you roll up, they knock on the door, he comes to speak to them. They tell him, put the box down, come outside. We need to talk to you about what occurred in the land. He then slams the door on them, deadbolts it. They're peering through the window. They see him, what appears to be, he's walking toward the back of the house where the sliding glass door is there. And that's when Deputy Rivera tells his trainee, get around to the back. And then he then turns around, walks back to the door, opens the door, and produces a tan Glock. And that's when the gun battle ensues. Other deputies are arriving. They get Rivera out into the back of a car. Deputies are applying first aid, putting pressure on his wounds, and they drive him directly to the hospital within however long it takes to go here, lights and sirens. And then once he was stabilized, Air One was able to transport him down to Halifax to their trauma care unit.
About how long was the suspect in the house before...
They grab him as other units are coming in. He's the first person to get grabbed because as Deputy Rivera is being transported, he's providing the incoming deputies with who shot him, the description, where he was at. So they all know coming in who this guy is. Now he comes out of the house after the shooting. He tries to get into his car because they had stop sticks set up in case he gets out of the driveway. But they were able to take him into custody. And then there were two other individuals that wouldn't come out of the house. So after a while with negotiations, they finally they came out as well. We don't believe at all that they're involved in the incident. They just happened to be there.
We thought multiple people were in custody.
There are multiple people in there, and we're trying. Obviously, we're not. Oh shit! They're going to love me for that. Obviously, we have to sort through this whole mess. But right now, the shooter, the person who actually engages in the gun battle with us, he is in custody.
And what about the other 12?
They are being interviewed as to determine what, if any, culpability they have and what, if anything, they saw.
So they're still technically in custody.
There ain't right. So we could clear out exactly what plays for what. But for what we know right now, and again, it's preliminary, this can change in 4 hours. What we know right now is Luis Diaz Polanco is our shooter, and he is in custody. And we're waiting, obviously, we have to search the house, we have to recover the firearm, there's projectiles inside and outside the house. So there's a lot to go on. And it'll be really interesting to see if Axon is able to retrieve that video that's going to show the actual gun battle on it. Thank God, both rounds went through and through. So once he was stabilized in Halifax here in Deltona, Air One then transported him down to a trauma center down at Halifax in Daytona, and we're anxious to get down there and see him. I think it would be more they pulled him out of the line of fire to get him out of there. And we'll, obviously it's still active, we'll release the transmissions and you can hear exactly what was going on. But I think, I can't say enough about the deputies. I mean, you're in a battle for your life from 6 feet away. You still have the sense of broadcasting the information out when you're wounded, and you're broadcasting the information out to the incoming deputies that this is who shot me, here's what he's wearing, here's the type of firearm that's involved. And, we're able to do what we needed to do. The response was incredible. It was incredible.
Besides Deputy Rivera and the suspect, did any of the other deputies fire?
Deputy Rivera is the only one who fired. And again, we're assuming based on his partners telling us what he heard, we're assuming there were 4 to 6 shots fired by each. And again, that's total speculation until we do the gun count, the weapon count, recover the bad guy's gun, shell casings, everything that we need to do. We're going to be out here for a while. It's nighttime. We're really not going to get a lot of the outside of the house searched till we get some daylight out here.
How many people total?
3.
Could you talk a bit more about the idea that these deputies went in knowing that he was dangerous? They're approaching it. They've already asked for help. They've put out stops and just in case. They're doing everything they need to do, and still this happens. What's that like?
You know, I've been doing this 39 years, and you could give all of the information that you want, and you know what? You don't know what that wild card is there. You just don't know it. You know, nobody mentioned that he had a firearm. What I told you about the firearm incident on the 4th of July, they weren't aware of that. I'm aware of that because I have the time since it's occurred, all this information is coming into me. When they're out there on the street doing their job, they're acting on that first bit of information that you have. And I cannot tell you enough that I believe Deputy Rivera is an absolute hero. His partner is just as much a hero. Those deputies that got him into the back of the patrol car, first aid, got him to the hospital, and the response time, not only from the Volusia County Sheriff's Office, because I left the land, it was a line. It was a line of police cars coming from Orange City, DeLand, Daytona Beach. I-4, the chief was coming down I-4, and it was just a massive amount of police, because you know, in the beginning you don't know. You know, is the shooter still inside the house? Did the shooter get away? Because everything it's pure pandemonium to try to figure out in that first beginning minutes what transpired.
Can you spell the suspect's last name?
His last name is Polonco. Luis Diaz Polanco.
R-U-I-Z for first name?
Luisdiaz for the middle name.
And that firearm that the suspect had, do we know if it was legally purchased?
We haven't even gotten that out of the house yet. So all of those things you're talking about tomorrow, you know, we're going to update you. We're going to see what we can do with the body camera footage from his partner. You know, there's some Ring doorbell footage we're going to try to collect as well. We're shipping this thing off tonight to Axon to see if they have some kind of technology that can retrieve what is in there. And then obviously the ballistic reports, all of those things are yet to come. But for me, and I know I speak for the chief and everybody in the organization, if you don't believe in God, things like this make you believe in God. This could have turned deadly. And here, you know, Deputy Rivera is going to make a full recovery, and hopefully he's back patrolling these same streets again in the very near future. And his partner, the young man that just graduated, Deputy Gomez Lopez, you know, he's going to have a brilliant future here as well. They're young. Everybody on this shift that was here, they're all relatively new deputies. You know, they've been here a couple years, and they all asked to work here. They weren't assigned here. They asked to come and work in the city of Deltona because of how the people treat them here.
Sheriff, when a situation like this happens, do you guys normally wait for EMS, or do they know just go?
They just go. I mean, I know. My theory, the way I preach it, is load and go. The hospital's not that far away. You know, by the time you get EMS here, or by the time Air One takes off and lands, you could have them in getting the best care anywhere with surgeons and doctors on top of them doing what needs to be done to stabilize them. We could do all that stuff later on with Air One or whatever to transport, get them right to medical attention. I mean, if you think, it wasn't that long ago that Deputy Ethan Thomas was shot in the face out here. You know, and again, that was another response where the deputies were able to load him and get him right to that hospital to where they needed to do what needed to be done. You know, police work isn't, you know, people think it's not dangerous. It's dangerous. You're dealing with the human race. You know, no matter how much information you have, here's a guy, clearly mental issues, obtains a firearm. And we've seen the history of that. Mentally ill folks get a firearm, and what happens next? Devastation.
Deputy Gomez, the trainee, how new is he to the job here?
He's 8 days on the street. He graduated January 20th. Demi was the MC at the graduation.
Wow.
So he just got out of what's called field training phase and was assigned, well, actually he's in field training phase, and was assigned to his partner, Deputy Rivera. We are not searching for anybody else. Obviously, this crime scene is going to stay So we're 100% confident we've recovered every round and projectile that was fired, and we review everybody's body cameras, everybody's doorbell footage. The chief's going to hold up, or he's got some pictures for you to show you what the body camera actually looks like that was hit. If we haven't, we'll release Polanco's photo. We'll have that out to you here shortly. And then obviously we'll update you when we recover the firearm. We'll get together sometime tomorrow and we'll go through this again. And hopefully sometime before the week is out, Axon will be able to recover the body camera footage, and we'll be able to show what we can show on that. And the 911 call, we're working on that as well to get that out to you guys. 31.
Sheriff, you said you've been doing this 39 years. Have you ever heard or seen anything where somebody gets hit by a piece of equipment they're carrying?
I've seen over the years somebody's badge stop around. I saw a bicycle officer take a round in his helmet. That had that helmet not been on, he would have been dead. So I've seen, but as far as seeing a body camera take a shot, it's the first time I've seen a body camera take it. And we just switched probably 6 months ago. It was worn on your shoulder. And we went to the new model because it gives you a better wide angle coverage to it. This thing now translates languages for you. So everybody, when we tested it, the deputies were more comfortable mounting it in the center of their chest. And we went with their recommendation that, hey, if this is what you're comfortable with, go ahead and wear it that way. And here's an example of God smiling on that little change that the deputies wanted to wear that dead center in their vest.
Sheriff, are you able to just hold up the body cam?
Yeah.
Up for us for a moment?
I'll hold it, here's the camera, and then you can see the top right-hand corner there of where the round struck.
Sheriff, can people in this neighborhood expect any delays tomorrow? I know there were some road blockages tonight. Anything you would like to let people hear?
What you're going to see here very quickly is the crime scene is going to shrink. It's going to be basically to this block. Everything outside, you'll start to see that move. And as they clear through the night, you know, check this house out, do they have any kind of video, do their neighborhood canvas, then the crime scene will slowly move closer in to focus just on the house. But for now, the street's closed and will be for the foreseeable future, for the next several hours at least. Thank you all very much. Like I said, we'll get back and provide you with all the updates as they come available.
Thank you, Sheriff.
Thank you guys.